Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting level.
Start again.
Harley, get out of here.
It's perfect. Don't listen to them. You're perfect just the way you are.
Is the
Eyebrows or not?
The second unwanted female to walk in the last hour. Now get out of here.
All right,
no, this is a no woman zone. Oh, hi, Michelle.
Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. I'm FuFuCuddilyPoof and this is level 196. Joining me tonight is KooshMoose.
So how does this mic turn? It's been so long. Hey, how are you doing?
He's back.
Are we live?
Live of a sort.
Okay.
I mean, I am recording this with the video, so it won't get released, but yeah. We also have Big L.
Welcome back, Nate. How was your vacation? I hope you didn't. It was what?
Vacationy.
All right.
Good word.
I know you were at the beach. I hope you didn't bring any sand back with you.
I might have.
All right, we'll find out.
And we also have Michelle.
Hello, but Koosh, the important question: how much gaming did you do on vacation?
Oh, I did so. An hour, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours.
I think
Probably 3 hours more than anyone wanted me to. But
I think we were pontificating you like at the beach with just like your feet in the water, and then you just have some sort of gaming device and trying not to drop it in the water.
See, yeah. The water is outside where the sun is, and that's not good for fair-skinned folk.
Well,
you don't seem sunburned or anything, so I guess you did or maybe it's been a week.
It was also very cold and rainy on the East Coast, so it wasn't terribly rainy, but it was definitely cold. I got into I put my feet in the water. It was very cold. But for the most part, it was just about being there with the in-laws, a lot of pool time for my daughter and my wife, and then I did a bunch of work because I wasn't really sure that we were going this week. It was kind of a surprise to me that we were going last week, so found out about 4 days before we left. So I had to ask for time off, and I had to do a little bit of extra stuff. So game time was not great, and vacation time was. I spent a lot of time in the condo, which is fine by me. That's how I like to do it.
I mean, we found out 10 minutes before recording we had to have Devin on. I mean, you should apologize to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you back, Koosh.
Thank you.
Most important question. Did you get any thrashers?
No, I did not get thrashers. I tried to go. They were closed on the boardwalk. So instead I went to Auntie M's. I can't remember what it is. Auntie whatever's pretzels. So we got some pretzels. I got Auntie Anne's. Got a lot of dumpsters. Oh my gosh.
A lot of
so
what?
much dumpsters. Dumpsters ice cream. Oh my gosh, they're so good. DUMSERS.
Okay.
And they are the best. The best. They're just the best.
This sounds like Maryland jokes to me.
It's a Maryland thing.
It's not a Maryland joke. I mean, it's delicious. And we went to the crab cake factory, and I got fish and chips because I'm not a huge crab guy. Sorry, the rest of Maryland.
What is wrong with you?
See?
But I love Old Bay.
You are crabby.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
That's me.
You got to get crabs.
Well, I think we hit our food talk quota for the show.
We'll circle back around.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right. Well, since Michelle wants us to stop talking about food, I guess we can talk about video games. So, topic of discussion this week is server closures. And this one was brought about by the Ubisoft Sitch. So
how dare you?
Topic of discussion for this... You know I was going to throw it in there just because you said you didn't want to hear someone say Sitch.
Oh, Devin.
I don't know what's a Sitch.
All right, gotta go to Urban Dictionary.
Urban
Everybody
ditch.
is so old.
We're going to have to put
Urban
an explicit
Dictionary.
tag on
What's
this
the
episode.
Sitch?
I maybe get upset.
So this is the question for this week. What do you feel is a good warning time for a server closure, and what causes you to drop everything to complete a multiplayer game? Now, we definitely should be going to Nate first.
Well, did you want to explain what happened?
I'll let you explain what happened.
I don't know. Oh, so
what happened?
They found some Assassin's Creed games just shut down without notice, and people got mad, and pitchforks were out, even though these were 10-year-old games that no one had any. They weren't going to play it, but no. I think what happened was people complained so much that they said, "Oh yeah, we didn't mean to shut these down. We're going to give you 30 days now." But they were on the list of games that were shut down. If you go to Ubisoft's site where they have the list of games shut down. But
wait. So they gave they said 30 days from now these things are going to be shut down, or they said when we shut them down.
Now we have
30 days.
Now we have a 30-day notice.
But
Wait,
no, I don't think that's. I don't think that's the case.
I do.
We should probably make sure of this because I think Ubisoft said in the future if they shut down servers, they'll be sure to give at least 30 days notice. I don't think they were saying
you better start
these
now
games are shutting down in 30 days. Could be mistaken, but that was my read of it.
I want everyone to hurry.
You and I are on the
nothing.
same page here, Michelle.
All right. Well,
we're on the same page.
But at the time of the question, they were gone.
Well, at the time of the question, the servers were away, and everyone was in total panic flip out mode because there was zero notice about a server closure.
Yes. So we'll pretend that that's exactly what happened, and we'll also blame EA just because
they deserve it.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, because why not?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Well, thanks for asking. Beast says, I think any kind of forewarning is better than what Ubisoft did. It doesn't have to be years in advance. I think at the very least a month is respectful. That's true. Nothing really causes me to drop everything for multiplayer. Nowadays, I tend to try to get multiplayer done as quickly as possible so I don't have to worry about it in the future. But I'll never hit 100% completion, so I'm not one to worry about it much. That is correct. And I don't really mind too much about these Assassin's Creed games because we had a boosting group that that really put in months and months of 3 hours a week to knock out all the Assassin's Creed multiplayer. So I'm kind of okay with that as long as the games still work because I've got lots of achievements left, but no multiplayer achievements. But yeah, as for time frames, man, I like 3 months. I think 3 to 6 months is a great window. But
I agree.
I do a lot of 2-week window shutting thanks to Game Pass and such. And then of course they tell me that this Halo thing is going to be patched out, and even though I don't care about Halo, the FOMO kicks in, and it's like, oh well, I guess I need to get that tank gun exploit before they patch it out. But yeah, so I think the more time, the better. It allows you to plan for things like the Terra shutdown on the U.S. servers that's happening, in a few months now. I'm thinking about that.
You stole my answer.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah,
but yeah. So I think as much warning as possible, and certainly no less than a month, please.
Definitely not less than a month. I agree. I think it should be at least 3 months as well.
All right. Well, jumping into the Terra talk, that seems to be a different type of discussion where the game is, I assume, not doing well. So it's going bye-bye. So that's different from like a game being 10 years old or whatever. A little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if somebody's shutting down or the building explodes or catches on fire and the servers don't exist anymore, okay, I guess.
We'll allow it.
I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, we'll allow it. Very good.
Yeah, it really does depend on the game. Like for something like an Ubisoft, even though the games are 10 years old, they've got the money to at least give us a decent amount of time as a heads up. Especially because, if for no other reason, not just for the achievement hunting, but also, I imagine there are people that would want to go on there and try to maybe play a couple more like games just for nostalgia's sake. And then obviously for us, for the achievement hunting, and for something like a Assassin's Creed, or if Titanfall servers ever go down, it takes a lot of time to get all those achievements. So if you're going to shut down the server, the grindier the list, the more time, the better. And not that these companies actually always think of achievement hunting, but if they could at least just take a look at the list that they put out, and then, base it off of that. That'd be great.
Well, that's like Gears of War 5 or Gears 5. It was announced today that a certain portion of the game that I think involves building maps or something to that effect is being shuttered.
Yeah.
So they're just unlocking the achievement for everybody. Now that's its own.
Which is also great.
That's its own can of worms, right? It seems like these achievements were relatively easy to get. I'm not 100% sure. They probably have ridiculous ratios because they are DLC and additional or title updates. But what a great way to handle it, right? They're not locking it out. They're not changing the requirement in terms of like, now you have to do something 1,000 times. They're just saying, look, these are things that were in here. They're not going to be in here. There's some notice, but this is just going to unlock for everyone. And you notice there's no complaint about this particular mode shutting down, because in the true achievement sphere and the achievement hunting sphere, because the achievement part of it is being handled in a way that people are okay with. Now, I don't think that works for every game that has a shutdown, because I did not do all the Assassin's Creed boosting that you just talked about doing, Nate, but I would be a little irritated if everyone who had Assassin's Creed on their tag would just pop it open and get all those achievements that I spent hours and hours boosting. But in this particular sense, that seems like a pretty good solution to this shutdown issue insofar as achievement hunters, and it shows an understanding of achievement hunters, which we don't typically get from game developers.
Man, I kind of do and kind of don't want achievements to just auto pop when the servers go down. Like, it would be really nice for, games that you have on your tag that there's absolutely no chance of you ever being able to unlock because of a down server. But at the same time, like, if you have it, you're kind of like in this exclusive club.
Exactly. Right.
Well, I don't know enough about these particular achievements, and I'm not sure any of us do, but if you do chime in, I don't know enough about these particular achievements to know if it reaches that level. So
yeah,
something like, Halo games always have certain achievements for, like, do something in Forge or whatever, right? Not always have them. But if it's really as simple as like, look, just you drop this thing down, you know how achievement hunters are. If the game was up for 10 years and that achievement disappears, and I know we're getting aside from the discussion, but that achievement disappears, there are people who will not start the game. It's an easy achievement that's just that particular part's going away. That makes sense to me to just auto pop it so it doesn't dissuade people. But I don't know in this case if that's how simple this achievement is or not.
Right. All right. Let's see. Let's do another patron response. This one's from Ahizo. He says, I think anything less than a month notice is as bad as no notice, but some things deserve more, like a 360 live and long-running MMO or any subscription-based game. People paid for your game. The absolute least you can do is give some real heads up about when it will be turned off. Of course, even promised heads up doesn't always come to pass, or on multiple occasions, EA has given less than the 30 days notice they promise on their game packaging. I think that brings up a good point. If it is like an MMO or subscription base or something like that, giving people some sort of decent heads up is, the right thing to do. And as I was reading that, I thought of Gears Pop. I believe they gave about a 6-month notice, and then as it was starting to shut down, they even made the requirements to unlock the achievements easier.
Right.
Which honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, well, we were just talking about how auto unlock. Maybe auto unlock's not necessarily the way to go, but making the achievements easier is.
That's another mixed bag thing, though, because there were people who were able to start Gears Pop in that stretch from when they announced the server closure, who were able to pretty much bang the whole game out in that time, where people who started from the very beginning, well, not the whole game out, because there was the gold tier league or whatever else. I don't remember the specifics, but there were a couple things that were more locked out. But the grindy stuff, people were able to do. Now, if you're one of those folks at the very beginning who were playing it every day, there's always, you're not going to please everybody, I guess, is the end all of this, right? Because for the people who spent hours and hours, I'm not defending the people who spent lots of money early on to get the achievements early. But for people who put in the time, it's like, well, I could have just waited till the last 6 months. It almost feels like you didn't get the benefit of the time you put in. So again, you're never going to satisfy everybody, but I do like that approach. Even speaking as someone who did play the game early on.
The only problem with that, though, is it goes against the idea of why they're shutting it down. They're shutting it down so they don't have to support it. But now if they have to push out updates every month or every few weeks to make it easier and easier and easier to get the achievements, well, they're doing a lot of support. So it was great for Gears Pop, but I think it was just one guy working on the weekends when he wasn't supposed to. It was slipping those in. Whereas with Assassin's Creed, that thing takes a village to make that game. So.
Well, on behalf of those people who are able to finish or get a lot of those Gears Pop achievements, we thank you, one guy working on the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Good job, Steve.
Somebody send him a cake.
Steve's the only one working on the weekend.
All right. How about you, Michelle? You got any other thoughts?
Well, for myself, insofar as server closures, I'm there is the me answer, and there is, I think, in some ways, like the company side answer. The me answer is, I have lots of games that I haven't picked up in a long time. If a server closure happens, that's on me. You know, I've had it sitting there. I have chosen to play any number of other games for whatever hours and not prioritize that project. It clearly was never that important to me. And I understand, well, I don't really understand, but I think I get that there's logistics to maintaining servers and whatnot that inform the decisions to close them. So personally, look, I've had Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, or Assassin's Creed 2, that whole trilogy since launch. I haven't done all the multiplayer. If they shut down, when I saw that announcement, I'm like, well, that kind of sucks, but I didn't put the time in the last decade. I wasn't going to put the time in now, I guess. So that's that end. But I think that a company putting on a game has a certain responsibility from a customer service point of view to give some notification. They don't decide this morning when they walk in and they're drinking their coffee, I think I should shut down those servers today. Like, there is a reason why these are happening. They're cycling those out to free up that space for something else. And maybe that's incorrect because, again, I don't really understand like the actual logistics of it and why you would close that server, like if you're freeing up space for something else. But you got to figure that they're looking at an annual plan broadly. And so they know, here's our release cycle. Here's where we can give these resources. Here's where we need to take away these resources. That information should trickle down to the player base. And I don't know how often they update those things internally, but I'd have to imagine it's at least quarterly. And so to me, I think a month notice is acceptable, but I don't understand why it can't be at least 3 months, at least 1 quarter where you go, look, this is what's happening. We did our annual plan. We evaluated this game and our needs for these servers. It just doesn't fit anymore. So here, consumer, here's this information. It's going to result in a server shutdown, so make of that what you will. So
very true.
That is my take. But let's read some other takes. So Erutearch says, I hope I got that close. Absolute minimum 1 month. Obviously, anything longer than that is fantastic. Getting so much warning for Halo was brilliant, but I didn't feel the draw to go back and complete them. To drop everything for a multiplayer game, it would need to be a non-stupid grind to get the stuff. Plus also be a fun game. Ultimately, I don't play many games with multiplayer anymore, so I've mitigated a lot of potential disappointment with that. And then also, I just want to point out Freemhaven, who said, and I thought this was a very interesting approach as well. Freemhaven, listen to me. I'm reading from the teleprompter, guys. Who put that question mark in there?
Burgundy.
Freem. I didn't read the guard dog backwards, but Freem got me. Freemhole, the GM of Freemhaven, which is this amazing game we're playing in Discord. Freem says, I lumped the 2-week Game Pass notice in with the server shutdowns, and 2 weeks is way too short. I'm on the 1 month minimum, 6 month or longer preferred camp. So what Freem is talking about is this, and you hear this every week if you're listening, we get 2 weeks notice when a game is leaving Game Pass. And Koosh, I know you can speak more than any of us about the rush and thrill and time management and fury of trying to finish some of these Game Pass games with only that 2 week minimum. And so that was an interesting little extra take that Game Pass should probably also give us a little more warning when a game is about to be removed so we can prioritize those projects. So it seems like most of the community is kind of settling on this 1 month at minimum, but longer if it's a game that is notably longer to complete.
Game Pass, I imagine they do that on purpose, because if they were to tell you, hey, in three months this game is leaving, you're gonna play it and get your fill of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if there's 2 weeks left, you're gonna go, oh crap, I'm not gonna have time to beat this. Here, let me buy it while it's 20% off.
I have long said with Game Pass, what I would love for them to do is say, game is guaranteed to be in service until X date. So it might stay in longer, but after that, and pretty much Freem has worked on a spreadsheet that sort of captures that idea, like tracks the launch dates, how long that publisher's games tends to stay in Game Pass. But if they release that information, this game might be removed on April 30th. Okay, it might be removed on April 30th. It's the earliest possible removal date. And then after that, you're playing with fire.
Right.
I understand you're right, though, Kenny. The reason they don't is because I'm sure they must see an uptick in sales when you get that little Game Pass amount
100%.
off when a game is about... I'll touch on that in sales later, but one of the games I'm picking is exactly for that reason. So it is by design. It is part of the marketing of Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I guess last up is UL. What are your thoughts?
Hi, Kenny. So my thoughts are basically not too different from everyone else, but in the case of the Assassin's Creed games, those are pretty long, right, Kenny? I mean, Nate. Sorry, I forgot who played games for a minute. Nate.
Are you talking about
the Assassin's Creed multiplayer
campaign
boosting
or multiplayer?
No, the Revelations and Brotherhood. And by the way,
it's a significant boost.
I was mistaken before. Yes, so the server closures website changed, and those games are no longer listed as being in fear of going down as of now. So they definitely backpedaled. I think they did mean to take them down, but they said no. Something happened.
Everybody got mad.
So I know I did one of the Assassin's Creed boosting things, and it took like 40, 50 hours. But Nate, you did it more recently. So I think to El's point, he was just confirming, like, that's a really significant, like you mentioned before, it took you multiple months of 3 hours a session or whatever.
Yeah, because we could only get a lot of people on for 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours a week, one time a week, just because of the way schedules worked out and things like that, other commitments and stuff. So it took a long time to kind of chew our way through it. Now, other people who have a little more free time and a lot more gumption and go-getiveness went ahead, to make terms up as we go. They knock these things out in like, under a week, just a few days.
What?
Like 8-hour sessions.
What?
Like, yeah, Katie and Nightwolf.
Oh my goodness.
A couple of their friends are hardcore. When they want to get something, they go for it, man. And so they knock these things out in short order, and the rest of us were sitting there for weeks and months just going, how? How did they do this? But yeah, they're beefy.
Now, what about the people that gasp would like to, I don't know, play these games without boosting? And...
no one wants to do that.
Okay, just making sure.
Well, that's where, again, there is the other side of this discussion, right? We're coming from the player consumer end of this discussion. But if you're the person working for Ubisoft who sort of tracks what the general player usage of these different servers happens to be, and you see the average user is 6 people on Tuesday night for 3 hours, you begin to think, maybe we don't really need to maintain these anymore. It's clearly not something where whatever resources we're using are being used as efficiently as they could be.
Now, just as a fun anecdote, we got steamrolled by some level 199 or whatever the max level was. Some guys would just go in there and they would see us boosting and they would just ruin the session.
Yep.
And those people, I'm so glad that they're going to lose their game because they're going to find something else to do now.
Oh, man.
So, ha.
Everyone who is... go ahead, Al.
That would happen to us during Call of Duty 3. Maybe we're going to say the same thing, but that would happen to us during the flag boosting. People would see people boosting and just grief us, even though we were technically doing the griefing.
I was one of those people.
Everyone who has ever done a multiplayer boost ever, especially of an older game, has experienced that sense of, bro, don't you know there have been like 7 more of these released? Why are you here? We've all been through it. Every one of us. And we're wrong. They're right to want to play the game.
Well, on the business end, we talk about EA. And I was going to defend EA, but then I forgot something they did that pissed me off. So in terms of EA shutting down Madden, NHL, FIFA, we get it. They want you to play the new ones. It makes sense, actually, right? We don't need Madden 13 servers up at this point, or whatever the case may be.
We really don't even need Madden 2021 up.
Well, you understand my point. But the thing that annoyed me, and you know where I'm going with this, Michelle.
I sure
Army
do.
of Two. Yeah. So Army of Two.
Oh, that isn't where I thought you were going with this, but go on.
You know, you're shutting down Army of Two
I agree.
multiplayer when the sequel has nothing to do with the first game. So the first game we played because of a shutdown. And that multiplayer was luckily quick and not painful. And then Army of Two, we got done to make sure it was done. And then after a while, even after they announced the shutdown, there was a problem with the mask creator and stuff like that, which still people ask about and try to find loopholes around. And then the third game, they didn't put any multiplayer after all that.
And that's
so why are you shutting down the old ones?
Well, that's another different type of annoying closure is when non-multiplayer things get shuttered. So things like the Mask Maker, there's I think a character creator achievement in Saints Row 3 and 4 that is similarly impacted. Even something like the Connect Fitness, I don't remember exactly what it was, where you know all your friends had to total up to 1 million calories burned, or Connect Share where you're losing the uploading of photos, so you have games that are not complete. Like, these aren't even active multiplayer servers. They were just sort of backends to contain information, and they go down, and so that's one less thing you can access. Right. But Elle, I thought you were going to mention Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2.
Damn.
Someone should.
Damn you. Yeah, my son just booted that up. He said, this game's better than the new one. People are still playing this game. So, and how old is that game now? Over 5 years.
Yeah.
Old enough.
Something like that.
Now you made me forget what I was going to say.
You soured me
for the rest of the night.
It's also crazy when a company like EA shuts down servers for something like Army of Two, which, you know, you need them servers for story-based stuff. Like if you just want to play with a friend.
Yes, co-op campaign.
Right.
Yes.
Where
co-op campaign went away.
Like if you want to shut down the multiplayer servers, I get that. But then you have games by smaller publishers like Time Shift or Fear, where if you want to boot them up, you can go play multiplayer.
Gears 1. Yep.
But I thought... and
I mean, Gears 1 I get because, you know, it's a first-party title. Whereas, you know, Fear, it's like, you know, it's not as big as these other games. Or Time Shift.
Well, and this is where I wish I had taken a little more time to do some more research. But I seem to remember reading at some point when this discussion came up that, like, companies can kind of choose to run the servers themselves, like EA and Ubisoft do, or they can use Microsoft's servers. So the things you're mentioning may be a part of that, where they're using those servers so they don't have to maintain them. But I don't know for sure. I don't want to say that as fact because I don't have it researched. I should have looked. But I do think it's something to do with that, where generally if Microsoft was the one providing the server space or they were somehow doing it through them, then that's how they were able to persist. But again, don't quote me, because like the Halo servers are down, right? Like the older Halo 360 servers, right? Had that shut down. So I'm very well could be mistaken.
Which, I mean, I understand why they shut down the Halo 360 servers, because you could still play all those games exactly the same way on Master Chief Collection. You're just using your Xbox One and or Series X or PC instead of your 360. So I get that. That makes sense. I'm not necessarily mad about those. It's when there's a game that's just, like an Assassin's Creed. And it's just like, come on. Why is this shut down? Or an Army of Two. I've never played Army of Two.
Yeah.
And I likely never will because of this.
Yeah, and the first game was really the pinnacle of the co-op nature of the game. It became, and I think Elle agrees with this. Like the game got more and more like a typical co-op shooter the more it went on. The first game definitely had the most unique elements, and the fact that most people will never experience it because they don't have a couch co-op buddy. I mean, obviously for other reasons, it being a 360 game and whatnot, but the fact that people won't get to experience that's really a shame, because a co-op game really shouldn't lose its servers.
Yeah. This is also going to be one heck of a topic in a few years when they're shutting down the 360 servers and as a whole.
Oh boy.
How dare you?
Let's not bring that up again. I think it traumatized some people.
You know it's coming.
Stop.
We're not going to be happy, but it's coming.
I just wanted to say that I don't put Game Pass on the same scale as shutting down a multiplayer, because you can buy the game. So you don't want to, that's different.
I agree with you. I think it was just an interesting caveat that it was mentioned.
Yeah.
That's Freem's whole thing.
Right. But side question. So if the day comes, we'll stick with if the day comes that the 360 non-backwards compatible stuff is going to be no longer accessible. How much notice is fair notice? Because you're talking about hundreds of games.
There's no right answer.
So I'm curious. I'm asking as
if they
consumers.
Gave a year, if they gave 2 years, it's not enough.
That
minimum
wasn't the question.
1 year.
Okay.
Minimum 1 year.
Right.
There's no excuse for anything under that, because I forget when it was. I want to say it was 2019, maybe even 2020. Xbox released a report of like total time that's being spent in like backwards compatibility Xbox One games, so on and so forth. And I want to say it was something like 20% of time, or 20% of the time of people gaming on an Xbox server of some sort was with Xbox 360 backwards compatibility. So like, that's not an insignificant chunk. There are still people that want to play Xbox 360 games. There's kids growing up now that will go back and say, "Oh, what's this game?" And they discover new games. There's kids or someone is always going to discover some sort of Xbox 360 game. So when that day comes that they shut it down, it's going to suck. And I say at least a year minimum, especially since you were able to do that for Halo. You gave us an entire year to say, hey, our 360 servers on the Halo games are going down. Do with this information that you will.
Because you're not just talking get all the multiplayer done in all the 360 games. You're talking it's all gone, as in if you get an achievement, you won't see a timestamp anymore, just anything.
Right. I'm talking about the same as the Windows Phone is going through right now.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Gone.
So that's the same thing where you can still play the games, but achievements will no longer attach to your profile. Like that element of it will be discontinued. And I never even would have thought about this as really a potential concern, except we're seeing this with Windows Phone now. Now, Windows Phone obviously was a much smaller install base, so there's not as much concern there, many fewer games. So there's a lot of reasons why that makes, and it still took so many years past Windows Phone being insignificant, right? Like, I don't know how much, I think they gave like 6 months notice for Windows Phone.
Sounds about right.
I wonder if 360 games will just show up as offline on TA, for example, and still count towards your gamer score and stuff like that. Like, I wonder how it's going to
Wish they should, at the very least.
That would be a fair compromise.
I don't know, because I think with Windows Phone games, they're just going to be done. Like, they're not going to show up as offline. There's just not going to be that support. But again, I don't really know the back end of this, so it's possible. Do you have any sense of any of that, Koosh, or you have any other commentary other than being
360 will always be around.
Thank you,
These achievements will always be working. Multiplayer down. These achievements will always be there.
Optimist or the delusional?
All right, we have a couple more
both.
patrons. Mr. Chewy, the good old Wookiee, said, I had the luxury of being unaffected by these temporary closures, having completed the Assassin's Creed multiplayer stuff long ago. My friends were, though, and although I do understand why companies can't keep servers up forever, I can never understand why they rarely give notice of their plans. Their plans? World domination. Those feelings extend to delistings, too. A social media post on the matter takes seconds to create and would benefit the world, or at least the word of achievement hunters immensely. Yes, that's a different topic. A month would be nice, but it's probably not enough for the grindier games. 3 months at least would be optimum. 6 months feels like a luxury, but it would be nice. And
okay, well, that reminded me when they were talking about the social media posts. Aftercharge did that. Aftercharge did that when it was leaving. It was going to leave Game Pass, and then they were shutting the servers down. They released a couple of posts saying, "Hey, we're shutting everything down. Go ahead and get in while the getting's good." And then they saw a spike in not in sales. They saw a spike in players and actually wound up helping achievement hunters get the
and
achievement.
They gave codes away.
they gave the game away to several people.
Oh, yes, that too.
That's why nice guys finish last.
That's terrible.
It's horrible. Those guys were great. I really hate just stomping on the grave, but
right. Remember when
they're really nice.
Boss 101 guys gave away all those codes too? Yeah.
Wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So
they
I think
become a financial success afterward, right?
Yeah, sure. That's how I remember the story ending.
Right.
Yep. And the 360 will always be running. Yes.
All these things are totally true.
Do you want to say something, Michelle, before I put a bow on it?
As it say, I think you have one more patron
all right.
comment to read.
To put a bow on it, Mr. Mental Knight says, I have the same thoughts as my peers. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mental Knight. You summed it up better than any of us ever could.
I'm helping.
So we're ready to talk about some games we want to showcase that possibly don't have server closures?
Doubt.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's start with Nate.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Oh boy, he's so excited.
Holy crap, somebody's excited.
He's had
like,
oh my
been
gosh.
away from the show for 1 week, so he is
cannot wait.
He is ready.
I have been waiting to talk about this game for 2 weeks. And it's okay. This game is Blast Brigade versus the Evil Legion of Dr. Cread.
That's a great title.
What a
It
name.
is a great title, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to look at the box art for this, you would think, oh, this is shovelware. These graphics look like something that a Rattle-like would put out, maybe. Just from the stills, you kind of say, okay, yeah, it looks good, but it probably plays like one of these cheap games, one of these shovelwares. Well, let me tell you, it does not. This game is awesome. This game is, believe it or not, a Metroidvania.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You don't
Blast
usually
Brigade. So
play those. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that's what
I know, right? So I saw this game. This is a twin stick 2D run and gun platformer Metroidvania, and it's good. The combat is fun. There are room puzzles. So this is everything you want from a Vainer. This is not one of those, oh, is it a Vainer? No, this is a definite Metroidvania game, and it does things really well. It also has there was one instance where there's like a skill-based room, and there might be some other places that are skill-based as well, but there's this one section that is completely skill-based. Like, you have to be able to make it through this door in a certain amount of time, and it requires some tricky platforming. It's really fun. It's hand-drawn art with animated cutscenes. There is a lot of voice acting, and the remarkable thing about that is it's good voice acting. It is not one of those things where 80% of the people are good and 20% of the people are L doing a Chinese accent that's supposed to be Australian or something else.
It's out of my store. No
it's really good. The voice acting is really good when they do it. You start out as one character, and you will eventually be able to switch between 4 characters. Each of those characters has a special skill that they can do, and only they can do. And they use the puzzles and the obstacles are all revolving around that. So like you can get through a whole bunch of areas, but there are places you can't go until you get this character and until you get this character's alternate movement skill or their initial movement skill. You can upgrade your home base. You'll be doing that through collecting collectibles. And once you get enough of those, you can upgrade these little portions of your home base, things that will allow you to upgrade your primary weapon or your secondary weapon, or your health recovery, or your ability to pick perks. You have a PDA, and once you get enough crystals, each crystal basically equates to a battery, and a battery equates to a branch on a tree, and you can only pick one node on that tree. So you have to choose from 4 things, like, okay, you either do more damage, you take less damage, or something like that, right? And there are 7 of those total. So by the end of the game, you'll have 7 different perks that you can pick, and you can switch those up at certain places. We'll circle back to that. Yeah, the game's great. It has auto mapping. So as you enter a room, bam, it's on the map. That room will be kind of, not fully opaque until you have found everything in that room. So if there's a hidden area or there's a chest or something that you can't reach, that room will stay kind of, grayed out a little bit. Once you complete it, it'll be a fully solid color, and all right, I'm done. I don't need to go back to that room unless I, have to go through it. But it's great for letting you know where stuff is, because this game is big. There's, I want to say 10 areas, something like that, 10 plus areas. And it's fantastic. It's got that Metroidvania thing where I got to this room this way. Oh no, I can't get through this door, but yet if I loop around and I come around and hit it from the other side, I can open that door. Now I can cut through there. So there's shortcuts everywhere.
So satisfying.
Oh, it's so good. This game is so good. And it was like, I had no idea it was coming. And I was like, oh, look at that. And there was a whole hullabaloo about the fact that the game was released early on Xbox. It was supposed to be released at the same time as every other platform. So that's how it first came to my attention. And then I checked it out and I was like, hey, this looks like a Metroidvania. And then when it actually came out, I grabbed it right away and started playing it, and it ended up being fantastic. Let's see, what else? The auto mapping. There's a point where later in the game where you can purchase maps of all the areas, which is great. It's great for cleanup. You love to see that sort of thing. When you do that, it will not show you rooms you have not been into yet. But once you've entered a room, once you've entered it and it gets added to the map, you'll see where every chest in that room is. So you'll know, oh, I've got 2 of 3 chests, or I've got 2 of 3 collectibles, whatever. You can then go back at the end of the game, do all your cleanup, so don't worry about that. One of the mistakes I made, we're getting into the cons now, one of the mistakes I made in this game is every time I got a new movement skill or something like that, I just would revisit these rooms because I could not remember what was the obstacle in that room. Was it this particular one? I don't remember. And so I just kept looping back and forth through all the areas in the game. There are a couple fast travel points, but my biggest gripe with the game is that you do get achievements as you're going out. They're kind of spaced out, but the end of the game is way heavy in achievements, but it's also way heavy in abilities. So at the very last 5 to 10% of the game, you've got the best gun, but man, that thing would have been great to have, 3 hours ago. You get the best alternate gun, you get all the movement skills. So I can do all this cleanup right at the end, and that's great. Put the cleanup at the end, but give me those weapons. Let me use them for a while because they're pretty awesome. And so, yeah, like I was saying, don't play like I had played, which is go back. If you're going to play this game, and I think that if you like platformers, you like Metroidvanias, obviously, or you like games that give you a lot of gameplay for your buck, that's good. I recommend this game. But I really, I don't I don't think you should go back and just keep checking every room as soon as you get an ability. Wait, save that for the end. The game does a great job of helping you clean up and helping you finish. I didn't know that going in, but I discovered that through playing, and I can save you a couple hours of gameplay. This game is fantastic, and it is, once again, Blast Brigade versus the Evil Legion of Dr. Cread, and I could not recommend this more. This thing's fantastic.
What a name.
Do you like this game by any chance, Nate?
Well, let me think about it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It looks like you got through the game in about 10, 11 days. So now
yeah, I chewed through it in a while, but then I had to go away. Unfortunately, I could not play this while I was on vacation. So I came back and I was like, what was I doing? But I hit this game hard. And I had a great time. TA says I played for 33 hours. The in-game clock says less than that. I think it says 25 or something. Mm-hmm. So I must have had it paused, or I don't know. Or somebody's lying.
Quick resume.
But yes, and a lot of that, once again, was me running around revisiting rooms when I didn't need to because I didn't have the thing yet, but my memory is failing and whatever. But yeah.
Were there any achievements on the list that seem like things you should look out for? It's fairly, decent ratio. At the time of this recording, the 1,000 gamer score is worth just about 2,400 TA. And I know you said it's a little bit backloaded. So do you think that that's why the ratio is a little high? I know it's also not tracked by a whole lot of players. Or are there things that you should be mindful of as you're going into this one?
No, I don't think so. For the most part, you're going to get everything by playing the game. And like I said, the game does a great job of helping you clean up, helping you find everything, giving you all those skills. Some of the boss fights are a little challenging. And I would say that if you're having problems with those, consider changing up your weapons a little bit, or consider going back and looking for some of those things that you know there's something in that room. Maybe it's going to help you power up a little bit more. But other than that, I mean, this game is great. I can't think of too many negatives other than them backloading it so heavily and not letting you use the things you want to use the most, and not having a new game plus.
Okay.
All right. Music, any good?
Music's great. Music's great. Cutscene's great. The humor's good. It's a great game. No. And it ends with the promise of a sequel. So I'm
even
very
better.
Excited. Yes.
Fantastic.
Hopefully it has a longer title.
Exactly. That'd be great. Yeah, they just put a 2 at the end.
All right. Well,
also,
you're not...
one other question. I don't expect you to know off the top of your head one way or the other, but it looks like in the achievements, BLAST is meant to be an acronym. Is that the case, or was that just stylized in the achievements? Because I know the game is Blast Brigade, but does BLAST stand for something?
It could very well. I don't remember.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I didn't expect that would be a very important thing. I was just curious, looking at the list, that they are always
in my notes. The way my brain works, in my notes, I don't remember the main character's name. I was like, was it Jeff Jefferson?
I understand that.
Like it was something ridiculous, like Jeff Jefferson. And so yeah.
Well, what you're really bringing to the table is the gameplay, and you
gameplay.
But okay,
and it's good. Got it in spades.
Important question: how far into you
Absolutely, it's worth $20.
No, that wasn't even it. I think we've been advised to not ask about whether things are worth their price or something like that. But how far into the game do you get the double jump?
It's very late.
Oh no!
I would say like 70. If let's just say hypothetically there is a double jump in this game.
Okay.
Let's say you might hypothetically get it around 70% of the way through. Okay. Something like that. Maybe 80.
I like the achievement names.
Same. I was just looking at a couple of those.
Did you see the?
Have I mentioned this game is great?
There's
I love it when you come back from vacation refreshed and ready to talk about. Sorry to step over you. Go ahead.
Damn it, Michelle. There's some cool achievement names, and I'm trying to tell you what they are.
Okay.
There's Master Chief's Worst Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
There's one Shadow of the Kick-Asses. I love that one.
That's good.
And it looks like there's a Pokemon-inspired one up here. Did you see this one, Kenny?
Which one?
Looks like Creed's blasting off again.
Oh, I missed that one. All right, that's good. I was looking at the one right under that Tomb Raider for finding a secret.
There's Legendary. Come on.
Oh, there's 52 achievements. There's a lot to take in here.
Was it Feed Me Jefferson? So I believe Jefferson. I think I was right with the Jefferson.
It might
Feed
be
Me Jefferson.
There's another one. Welcome to Jeff Park. Wow, that's actually really hard to say. In my head, I got it.
That was easy.
Blue Bolts give you wings, like Red Bull gives you wings. Oh, this is a fun list. This might be
a very fun list.
Skeptical Mario approved.
The achievement art is great. I believe Skeptical Mario loves it. I know Alex R. Davies loves it.
I'm looking at this.
So, yeah.
Speaking of Alex R. Davies, not that you would toot your own horn, but it looks like in the community that you were a top 10 finisher. Did you mention that?
Yes.
Wow, very nice.
You don't toot your own horn. I'll toot your horn. You were 7th on TA to complete this game. And,
had I not gone away on vacation, I'd be top 5, I think.
And Alex R. Davies was number 4. So that's
very nice.
Where he comes in.
Yeah, his completion time's like 20 hours and 19 minutes. So I think he knew he was mainlining it. I think he just said, I'm just going to mainline it and do cleanup later. Maybe that's the way he plays. But, man, I squeezed everything I could out of this game.
Well, of the 10 people who completed the game, 4 people were nice enough to offer time estimates. There's one for 12 to 15 hours, one from 15 to 20, one for 20 to 25, and then one for 35 to 40. So this is all over the place.
They're all over the place. And the first person to complete it has 147 hours in the game.
Ooh.
I don't know why.
Somebody left their Xbox on.
I'm sure.
I think they left their Xbox running and they went on several vacations.
It's a dev?
I don't know.
So I'm guessing, though, that I totally lost my thought while we were talking about the videos. Well, it's gone now, so we'll just we'll move along. It totally.
Tell us about the perfect donut. Oh, the prefect donut.
The prefect donut.
Well, that's what it says. Both of those work.
My thought will come back to me halfway through Kenny's part of the segment. So
probably. All right. Well, are you done with that, Nate?
Oh, minor victory.
I mean, if I have to, if you want to cut me off, like I hear the music playing. Yeah. Oh, wait.
I found an NES reference. I got it. There's a minor victory for defeating Little Joe, which sounds to me like a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out reference.
One of the first achievements you get is called Not a Plumber. It's for trying to jump on someone's head because you don't know how the game works yet.
Nice.
So there's a guy beneath you. You just try to jump on him, and it's like bloop, bleep, bloop. Yeah, not a plumber.
That's so good.
Yeah, this game is great.
I think Borderlands had a very similar achievement in it, though. So to be fair,
like that.
We've seen that before. But that one, I think you actually jump on an enemy and it does a little bit of damage. Well, no, I don't know if it does damage. But either way, it's the same idea.
Italian plumber. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother is an Italian plumber.
Yeah, that sounds right. Well,
I know that one.
That's very cool, Nate. I'm glad you enjoyed Blast Brigade versus the Evil Legion of Dr. Cread. And that's just a great title. And hopefully your chatting about it will get more people encouraged to buy it. Because right now it's only tracked by 84 people. Just has not.
It was great to not know about it. It just dropped. And now I'm telling you guys. So,
Thank you, Nate. You reminded me of my point when we were talking about the hours. So I'm guessing you played this completely guide-free because there just wasn't that information out there. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's 100% correct. Yes. There was no help. There was nothing.
But I think that speaks a lot to the game that you were able to get through it and enjoy it, get 100% of the achievements and whatever else without any guides. We sometimes lose that experience because we're so busy hunting for the achievements. So that's cool to know that it's built in such a way that that's not required of you.
Yep.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, I guess we'll continue on to the next game. And I'm next up on the list. So, yeah. Game I'm going to talk about. I've been playing the past few days. And I started this very much based off of the recommendation that you gave, Nate, 2 or 3 weeks ago.
It wasn't last week.
Yeah, I know it wasn't last week. It's 2 or 3. I forget. Time's irrelevant now. But the game is Gears Tactics. Now, if you don't know what this game is, it is an XCOM-like, kind of like a Limbo-like. We're just going to start calling them XCOM-likes because this is a strategy turn-based game in the Gears of War universe. Now, if you don't know what XCOM is, it's just a strategy turn-based game where all of the you can command different units to attack or activate abilities or take cover behind objects and such on like a grid-based map or battlefield, if you will. Gears Tactics takes place. I don't exactly know the days, Elle or Michelle, and you guys could probably say the exact date, but it takes place shortly after E-Day, and right when Commander Prescott, I believe that was his rank, he issues the Hammer of Dawn strikes to glass the one city.
Oh, okay.
Jacinto.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very early on in the human locust war. Or if it has this fancy name, I don't know it.
Okay. Yeah, I know nothing about Gears Tactics, so this is fascinating. Go. Other than it exists. Go on.
So the main characters so far I do recognize from Gears Pop, Gabe Diaz and Sid, and I've forgot his name now. But he's a character. He's like an older guy with an eye patch. He looked familiar. I'm pretty sure they were in Gears Pop.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really good so far. I haven't really, when it comes to the strategy turn-based games or the XCOM ones, I really haven't dived into a lot of these and really latched on with any of them. But this one, I think, is doing it because it's part of the Gears universe. I'm really mad at myself that I never jumped into Gears of War sooner. Like, that is definitely a gaming regret that I have because I absolutely love the universe. And getting into this game, it's just like, man, I should be playing more Gears of War because, it's very much of just the exact same atmosphere. Everything's dying, everything's screwed. You're going to die eventually. And there's a couple of like really buff soldiers that are just coming out trying to kill some locusts and save the day. This game you like XCOM, you have different characters that you can recruit as you go through. You can upgrade their weapons, get new gear and stuff like that. And while I haven't lost any units yet, no one's died, I do see that there are achievements for beating the game without anyone dying or beating missions without anyone dying. So this, very similar to like XCOM, does feature some sort of permadeath system. Except in this, you can't name your characters. Like how...
so you can't get emotionally attached to them? Yeah, Devin was doing that.
Yeah, you can't get emotionally attached to these.
That, by the way, was naming XCOM characters after members of the community.
Yeah.
So there was one glorious time where I think Kenny turned rogue on the whole crew and wound up killing Elle or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds...
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's it. I knew it was something that my character did wrong and completely screwed up everything. I think that's it.
Yeah, you got confused or something. Like some effect was on you. You were either taking control of... I'm not familiar enough with XCOM to know, but you turned around and lobbed a grenade right into your allies. And we've played enough Halo with Kenny to know this is just a thing he does. I didn't know it was that accurate at the time, but now I know it was very accurate.
I love team killing. Like we said before, when you're talking about, like you were saying before with the Call of Duty 3 and you're having griefers. Yeah, I'm that guy. I am that griefer.
Yeah,
I've griefed on Call of Duty 3 and many other games.
I hate you.
But yeah, I know you do. But yeah, what's also interesting about this game is you start it up and you go to create a new campaign, and there's actually two different modes. You could do the first mode is classic, which is what I started, and then the second one is they call it the jacked campaign or something like that. Let's see, the jacked game mode, I guess, and that's where eventually there was a title update. And it added Jack, different items, more characters, a whole bunch of stuff to the game. So it kind of like gave those that were playing this, more things to play with and more things to do.
So
which
For those
find interesting, but I didn't want to start that. I wanted to keep with the base game.
For those who aren't familiar with Gears, what's different about Jack and how Jack would play?
Jack is like the floating robot that I know he could, jack characters and control them or take guns or something like that. I assume he does that in Gears Tactics. I don't know, as I haven't used him.
Okay.
I'm just assuming.
Yeah, it's just he's not a human character. He operates differently.
Yeah, he's some robot thing.
That's fun because you have the robot companion in Gears 5. And if you play as the robot companion, it's a different game for you. Right, Elle, you've been playing as him in our run of Gears 5. And the gameplay is different, which I'm curious how that works in the context of Gears Tactics.
I think it would just add a different layer of battlefield tactics.
Okay.
Because every character has different abilities. Some can heal, some can give like they have different abilities. That's easy enough to say because you have different weapons. Like the heavy class has like a mulcher, the scouts have gnashers, some have a retro lancer, some have the lancer. So like it's all the different weapons, and obviously, as you can imagine, they function differently in a strategy game.
Okay.
And then obviously the one thing to point out when it comes to the achievement list, as there's lots of achievements. There's let's see, what was it? Yeah, there were 61 total. I've unlocked 5 so far. Like they come pretty easily. It's not too hard to get them. Completionists beware. But then obviously they do have the seriously tactical achievement. They have to have a seriously achievement, which looking at this one looks to be the easiest of all the games. I would assume anyway. This one has a couple of different requirements. Is to gain the Grubpocalypse, Immortal Legion. I could do this all day, and boom, achievements. And the real difficult one out of those is the Immortal Legend, which is to complete the campaign on insane difficulty without a single unit dying. Which that seems doable. Obviously crazy difficult, but that seems doable. And then also, if you just look at the time estimate the time estimate on what it would be to complete this, it's only 100 to 125 hours, whereas like every other Gears game is 1,000 plus, or whatever it is, crazy amount.
I only have 2 friends that completed this game. This looks like quite the undertaking, honestly.
Oh, I'm not saying it's easy. By no means what I say is an easy game.
Probably more difficult than grindy.
Yeah, definitely. You have to be good at the strategy games. I mean, it's got about a 9 ratio, so it's not going to be easy by any means. And obviously, that's probably also because of the Game Pass boost.
We're at a 9 ratio with a game that launched directly into Game Pass, I'm pretty sure, and has that sort of large install base. It's still going to be crazy, but it's probably a little bit inflated. But that's certainly not to detract from what an undertaking that's going to be to get that.
Mm-hmm. I will also say this is another game that is just perfect for xCloud.
Really?
So like, because it's a slow-paced game, like in the middle of a match, I can set my controller down and nothing's going to happen because it's turn-based. So it works very, very well with xCloud. If there's stutters in the middle of the game, which I had a little bit of, who cares? It's not a first-person shooter. I don't need any Twitch skills, so it works really well. And then, thankfully, because of xCloud, when I came home today, before recording, I wanted to play it some more. And instead of sitting there waiting for it to download, because I forgot to download it last night, I just, booted up on xCloud and kept playing it again. And just, save picks up and everything.
Very cool.
This might have touch controls too. Let's see, where's those notes? Nah, maybe not. It must have been another game I was looking at. Yeah, I thought this had touch controls, which would help if you want to play on your phone. But either way, this game would probably be better on the computer, but it works very, very well on the controller. So if strategy, turn-based, XCOM-y like games are your thing, I would definitely check this thing out. Very good. And A+ on the recommendation there, Nate.
Oh, thank you. Glad you like it.
I'll definitely be continuing playing this one. All right. But in that case, what game do you want to talk about?
All right. The game I'm going to be talking about, it is called In Rays of the Light. So In Rays of the Light is a sometimes you Stroll playing game. And I am very mad at it.
That's not where I thought that was going.
No, I am very mad at it. So this game is supposed to be a half hour to an hour. So not knowing much about it, what I decided to do, since I prefer text guides, is I found a text guide. And there's one on dex.exe that I've been using a lot lately. It's a pretty good text guide. What it fails to tell you is about this achievement called Forever, where you have to stay in the shade. So there's actually two different endings in this game. One is to beat the game without, when you go outside, you have to run as fast as you can to not be in the rays of the light for too long. I believe it's for like 3 minutes or something like that is all you have. But what I guess I didn't realize is that when you pick up the flashlight in the very beginning and you have that on, that counts towards that too. So unfortunately, I beat the game and I did not get that achievement. Because what you're supposed to do is get that achievement first, and then you can reload the last chapter and get the other achievement for the other way. The achievement for beating it with getting the rays of the light and without.
Oh.
So, of course, after the fact, I went back in and looked at the solutions, and a lot of people did the same thing. They said, "Oh, I didn't get this achievement," and they're like, "Yeah, don't even pick up the flashlight." I'm like, you didn't even have to pick it up, because the walkthrough I was reading said, you can just don't use it a lot, and then you also get a lighter that you could use for a light source also. But with that all said, the game itself, I believe it's by a Russian developer. There's a lot of Russian language propaganda, I guess you want to call it, in the game, which is not bad. It's what it is. It's got all the tropes of Stroll playing games like finding notes or poorly translated notes. And in the contents of the notes, sometimes you'll get codes for unlocking locks and such. But there's just one area of the game where I don't know how you would figure out what to do without a guide. And basically what you have to do is go around, like you get stuck in this maze and you just have to follow the maze around 4 times. And then eventually you figure out the way to go by going around 4 times. So there's stuff like that. The ambiance is actually really good. The sound design is good. I was sitting back with my headphones. I'm like, whoa, that's some good sound design, which you don't really say about these sometimes you games. Sometimes they get a bad rap.
Definitely not.
No. But it's actually a remake of a game from 2012, and it mentions that in the credits as well. So the other thing to know about this game is that it's a triple stack. There's an Xbox Series version, an Xbox One version, and a Windows version. So if you know what you're doing, you can get 3 fairly quick completions in about 2 hours. So once you do it the first time, then you know what to do. So overall, I am mad at the game, but thankfully my second playthrough shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully no more than a half hour. I can skip all the notes, the achievement for getting all the notes and stuff like that. I just have to go through and not get the flashlight this time and just kind of rush through the game. But that's In Rays of the Light. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, let's get to the last game. Michelle, talk about Ovivo.
I think it's Ovivo.
Ovivo?
Could be Ovivo. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I will talk about Ovivo, and I'm going to go with that pronunciation. This is also a Sometimes You published game, and it's interesting. So you play as this little circle with an antenna, sort of, which apparently is named Ovo, and Ovo exists between the worlds of black and white, and throughout the game you switch between black and white by hitting A, and that will determine where your gravity is. So when Ovo is black on white background, gravity goes down. When it's black on or white on black background, gravity goes up. And that's really the majority of the gameplay. Ovivo does not signpost, and that's the design. You're meant to just sort of explore going through, but the level design is actually pretty clever in the sense that in the time I've played it, at least, I never really got lost, even though there's no clear way, right? Like if you've played Left 4 Dead, even though there are times where you feel a little lost, like if you've listened to the developer's commentary, look for light. If you see light, that's where you're supposed to go. There's nothing like that in Ovivo. But there's something clever about the way that the different levels are designed, and the levels are 2D and have non-traditionally shaped platforms that you are using this gravity switching to go between. As you go through the levels, there are these little dots that you collect, and then in each level there are 3 bigger medallions you collect, and those medallions are meant to represent the story of the game, but they're also where all the achievements come from. So you pick up a medallion, you get an achievement. The whole game has, I think, 18 achievements. Let me just go and double check that. Oh no, 31. It's a lot more than I thought. I only got to 16, so I'm about halfway through it. But that's mostly how the achievements are earned. You're just going to grab those. So the reason I started Ovivo, if you are on True Achievements, last month as one of their 30 days of updates to the website, they added targets. And one of the targets for the month of April is collectibles. Looking at my list of games, I don't have that many games with collectibles. The big one I have is Life is Strange. I'm like halfway through chapter 2, and I kind of feel if I'm going to jump back in, I want to start from the beginning. I also don't want to use a guide and just streamline the photographs for the collectibles. So in searching around on TA, Ovivo is a $7 game with 31 collectible achievements. I believe every achievement in the game is a collectible achievement. So it's perfect for this challenge. Okay, except for the very first one. So 30 of the 31.
Yep.
Okay, and that more or less explains why I picked it up. I don't regret picking it up because it is interesting. And the other thing Ovivo does well is checkpoints. So again, no signposts or goalposts, but when you lose, and you lose by hitting into spikes, by kind of falling into endless pits, the stages are not infinite in size. When you lose, you get checkpointed, and that frequently will let you know, hey, you're on the right path. Because if you really wind up far afield, the checkpoint's going to bring you back kind of to the last place where you were heading the right way to finish the level. So it's, for what I got it for, Ovivo's completely fine. I got plenty of collectible achievements. It's a perfect game to play while, like, I know that the soundtrack is meant to be this sort of ambient environmental soundtrack. It wasn't memorable to me, so I would listen to music or to a baseball game or whatever while playing it.
It's elevator music.
Okay. It's not a stressful game. There are a couple parts where you do have to be mindful of momentum in order to move from platform to platform. And at least so far as I've gotten into Ovivo, it hasn't been anything too terribly trying. And it could be. It very easily could be more tricky with, you have to switch polarity and kind of come in and out of these different backgrounds. But thus far, it hasn't been. So for the purpose I got it for, it's been okay. It's a pretty relaxing game. I see on True Achievements it's been on sale for as little as $2.79 before. It's not bad at that, and it's a perfect game if you need collectibles. So yeah, it is solidly okay. It's not like the best thing I've ever played, but for what I got it for, I'm not upset.
Yeah, it's a decent platformer. I actually streamed this. We got a code for this back, July of 2019.
Wow.
That feels so long ago since I've did that stream. It does not feel less than 3 years. Yeah, I streamed this, and this was one of those games where you're a victim of game sharing.
Yes.
With sometimes you games, because I have no progress in this game.
Okay. Yeah.
I streamed for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever it was, and I have no progress. One of our review accounts has a couple of has actually probably about as many achievements as you do, Michelle.
Yeah, it took about an hour to get roughly halfway through Ovivo. The estimate on True Achievements has it at about a 2 to 3 hour game. And if things continue as they are so far, that seems about right. At the end of every level, the stage sort of pans out. So you can see how all these little platform elements actually make a larger image. And I think that's interesting. And from what I read about the game, it's meant to tell you something. It's meant to be maybe allegorical. I don't get it myself. Like I'm not seeing that. I'm just seeing pretty pictures. I think there is something more it's trying to do. I don't know if that sways anyone one way or the other, but I don't know. I think, again, I think that part of it's actually very clever. And for a sometimes you game, which, sort of like what you were saying, Elle, within Rays of Light, right? Where there's this impression like, it's sometimes you, but look, it's an average game, but it's in the like better than average qualification of average games. So it's a pretty good takeaway when all is said and done.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sound glowing, but
it's a good before bed game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine.
It's like in that Glass Masquerade pocket of,
Yeah.
I think I did exactly what you did. I think I picked this game up for a contest because I played it one time. I played it on one day. I got what I needed and I got out and I need to go back.
Right. And that's, I played it for that hour, got halfway through. And since I played it, I'm like, oh, I should really go back and just try to clean some of that up. Because it's not that I disliked my time with it. It's just also sort of, it's a game beginning with, maybe that'll be good for Gamertag Challenge somewhere down the way. I'll wait. It's actually good for Gamertag Challenge this month. So, I keep kind of running out of ways to say that it's solid, but it's a solid game. Nothing revolutionary.
All right. All right. Well, in that case, let's move on into some sales, and I guess you're up first, Michelle.
Okay, so I think part of my thing with picking Ovivo is that I feel like I might be coming to sort of an impasse where my gaming tastes are changing. I know we've talked about this in broader context, right? Like, I grew up as a JRPG fan. I played the Final Fantasies. I played anything by Square. That was my deal. And then eventually I had to come to grips with the fact that I don't really play games that way anymore. And I was really into third-person shooters and these big multiplayer projects. And then that sort of fell by the wayside. And it's been a lot of these sort of like picking at these smaller projects. And I think that is sort of burning out now too. So I was looking down the list, and a couple of things that struck my interest were actually back to the JRPGs I used to play back in the day. So one is Octopath Traveler. I know this is in Game Pass, but I also am aware that it is one of those games. Or wait, it's still in Game Pass, right?
Yes, yeah, it's still in Game Pass.
Whew. But it is one of those games that's in the danger zone, where it's been there for over a year or close to a year, and Square games tend to stay about a year. It's an 80-hour game. It's, full price, $60. So this week it's on sale 50% off at $30. So thinking ahead is a game that's leaving Game Pass. It's better than the Game Pass discount, which I think is 20% when a game is announced to leave. So looking at that one. And also at Romancing Sagas 2 and 3. Romancing Saga 2 is on sale for $7.49 and 3 is on sale for $8.69. These both are a 70% discount. The Saga games, in case you happen to not be familiar with it, initially came out in the United States as Final Fantasy Legend on the Game Boy. Those, the Saga series is obviously those first Saga games, and then the Romancing Saga series, and I believe there's one other Unlimited Saga, but I played Romancing Saga 1 on the PlayStation, obviously ages ago, and the way Romancing Saga is situated is there are 8 characters, kind of similar to Octopath Traveler actually, where there are 8 characters where they have sort of intersecting stories, but you play each individual character's story arc. And with Romancing Saga, there were a couple characters that had these really amazing 10 to 12 hour story arcs. And then there were other characters that had these really kind of bizarre, shorter story arcs. And I haven't really considered these games at all since they've been released on Xbox. But at this price, and considering kind of where my head is at for these, they seem like they might be fun to just kind of take a flyer on, especially at this steep a discount. So that's what I'm looking at this week.
Those romancing games are also good because they're playable on Windows as well. So those are nice ones.
Oh, so I didn't even take note of that. So that's good to know.
Also nice.
All right. That's why you guys keep me around. You also keep me around to talk about dirt cheap, really easy games. Since that's all that caught my eye this week. Red Death, I like them East Asia soft shoot 'em ups.
They are good.
Pity Pit is like a less than half-hour game. And Sinker 2 are all $1.99. Now, Sinker 2 is another game I had a fight with last week. So Sinker and Sinker 2, when they're on sale, they're $1.99. They're worth it at that price. Sinker 1 is fair. It's about 45 minutes. Sinker 2 decided to be a jerk and be around an hour and a half. And, it's like last week where you start playing the game and it's not too hard and then it just gets ridiculous at the end. So when you're following the video, you have to be precise because if you mess up, you have to start the level over. And the last level of Sinker 2, I had to restart twice, and I was just so mad at it. But they're solid puzzle games. Yeah, that's okay. What I got this week. Some easy peasies. Lemon squeeze.
All right. And then for the real good recommendations, what you got, Nate?
I don't know about real good. This week's theme is, hey, take a look at this. Look at this thing. And we're going to go back and talk about a game that we've mentioned before on sales, and then we challenged Waka, and he foolishly accepted. Baobab's Mausoleum Grindhouse Edition, Country of Woods and Creepy Tales. Once again, this is the show with the really long titles.
I'm sorry, that was one game?
Yes, that's one game. This is $3.40, and you get that entire title for $3.40. It's down from $17. It is an action game. It has 3 unobtainables. And my goodness, you need to check this. You need to check the screens out. You need to watch some gameplay. This thing is, get a load of this thing. And you can also check out Waka's Weird Wonders, where he covered this on level 155. And he's going to go into way more detail than I would here. Man, crazy. Another game to just go and what the heck is going on here is Giraffe and Annika. This is $15 down from $30. It's an action adventure. There are 33 achievements. There's 162 starts with 13 completions. Just scanning the achievement list, the hardest one is clearing all hard rhythm games on S rank. Now, you gotta watch this thing. It's crazy. There are some battle scenes in this game. You gotta look at this thing. This thing's crazy to me. But the battles all appear to be rhythm games.
Sharing?
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh. Oh man, this game.
Share that screen.
Oh, you get.
Whoa!
You just gotta take a look at it. Go look at it. It's crazy. Next up, Golden Force.
That's something.
$6 down from $20. This is a platformer. This game looks like it shouldn't be any good, just from the screenshots. But then I went ahead, and like I do, I went ahead and said Golden Force gameplay to Bing, and man, I want to play this game.
Oh,
it looks like a fun platformer with dodging and interesting combat. So it looks way more fun than the screenshots would have you believe. And check it out. I think I watched a video for the Switch version of it. Still looks really good. This one I think is actually a good game, maybe. And finally, oh man, I can't believe we're talking about it again. Balan Wonderworld.
What are you doing?
Is $12 down from $40. I have to talk it. I am obligated to talk about Balan Wonderworld because it's $12 down from $40. This is the lowest price so far for a game that should only be $2. It's 70% off. It's a platformer. It is a critical failure. It's been talked about. It's got a video on, Kenny, what's your favorite web series?
Just Bad Games.
Just Bad Games. There you go.
It's just bad.
But for some reason, the people who have played it and rated it on TA have given it a 3.24 out of 5 stars. And we know you can't get 5 stars. It's impossible on TA with 31 votes. There's no such thing as a 5 out of 5. So man, this thing's only like, it's not that far away from perfect. A 4 out of 5, perfect 4 out of 5. So we just have to talk about it again.
Yeah, Koosh, I'm so glad you wrote this because I wrote this one down as well, and for exactly the same reason. I could not believe, first of all, that $12 is its cheapest price point. But secondly, that it has a 3.24 rating on TA. Like that's really not that is an above average rating on the site. I just how I don't understand.
I think people are baiting. I think they want people to buy it and waste their money and then be mad. I think that's what it is. I think people are upselling it. Oh, I haven't rated it. I haven't played it.
I mean, obviously,
you're really plugging it enough.
Our best approach here is to challenge Waka to play it, and then we'll really know the story.
I think so. Now, if this game hit $5, it would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I would have to do it.
Maybe.
Right.
I wouldn't like it. I would hate myself the entire time, but I would do it for $5. But $12 is...
It's still too much.
That's way closer to $5 than $40.
That's 2 Golden Forces.
Yeah, it's 2 Golden Forces, which I haven't played yet. So maybe I'll go play that and see if... I mean, come on. Golden Forces got to be better than Balan.
Maybe
I swear, man.
There you go.
Just because it's a Square game, gets that little bump.
I don't know.
I doubt it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I swear, man. Between the It's Just Bad episode they did with it, and then knowing how much you hate it and every single time it gets brought up, it makes me just want to play it that much more.
I do want to play this game. I don't want a $12 play it though. I want it to be on Game Pass.
Which is wild. It's not a Game Pass game.
Yeah.
It's probably better for Game Pass that it's not a Game Pass game. Like, you don't want to add too many games that are notable critical failures. Like, how does that advertising look from Jessica McGame Pass or whatever her name is supposed to be? Guys, we're adding one of the worst games released in modern history, redacted.
Oh, I would love that. I would love if they did that. That'd be so good. But yeah, I mean, there were other good things on sale, but the theme that just stuck out to me was, hey, get a load of that thing.
All right. Well, we're coming up to the end of the month, so just as a reminder, grab a couple of the games with gold games. Another site is available until April 30th. Hue is available now until May 15th, and MX First ATV Alive is also available until the end of the month, so be sure to grab those.
I didn't realize we were getting podcasted by the Games with Gold announcement.
Oh, we're always getting podcasted by something.
Oh.
That should be out in the next day or so, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I hope so. I just love news.
Yep. And we'll probably be getting some more Game Pass news here.
Well, you get to be
as well.
All hyped about it next week during the live show.
Oh yeah, we'll get something good next week. A couple of games that are available now on Game Pass is Research and Destroy for console and PC. 7 Days to Die on cloud, console, and PC. Unsold console and PC. Bug Snacks on cloud, console, and PC. And then available May 5th is Citizen Sleeper and Trek to Yomi. They're both for console and PC. And then May 24th is Floppy Nights. And just as a reminder, the next season for Sea of Thieves, The Shrouded Deep, is available April 21st to May 12th.
what's weird, we don't have Loot River, but it's May 3rd, and that's also Game Pass. So,
and we've also again forgot to mention Eiyuden Chronicle Rising, which is May 10th to Game Pass. Again.
It's not real, Michelle.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited.
Hopefully nothing is leaving next week or next Game Pass, because I have so many of these things I want to play. It's oh my gosh. Unsold, Bugsnax, Turkey Yomi.
Many games.
Loot River.
What a lovely
Absolutely
problem to have.
games.
Settle down.
So
dude.
good. I'm sorry. The hype is rising.
Man,
I'm
if only
starting
we
to
had
get
a
hype.
segment for talking about games that are coming real
That's
soon.
not all that's rising.
If only.
But we don't have one of those. Instead, we just have a contest segment. Elle, you want to read out the losers for this week?
All right, GTASC losers. I think it's the last time, right? I don't even know anymore. These
I
crazy
guess
GTASC.
nobody really loses this week. Everyone's made it. This is the final week coming on now. So there's no losers next week. We'll just talk about the winners, I guess, or the final placement.
Only the people that joined are the real
I was
losers.
going to say that's I don't know. So Mad
Be nice.
Mad Eye Pad Eye was eliminated from individual as well as team with Unky Tim Fu. Those are our community members. Awesome job, guys.
Yeah, it really is crazy to get this far into it.
Yeah, the commitment to spend the last 24 weeks playing the way that all these guys have it takes a lot. It takes a lot of planning. Like, all joking aside, I know we talk about the amount of time spent, but it really is not just about that. It's preloading and using those efficiently. It's getting all the bonuses and having some ridiculous weeks where the bonuses just do not cooperate with each other. So to have made it to the last week is amazing, and good luck to all those in the final week. And congratulations in advance on your freedom.
All right. And then, Nate, why don't you give us a wrap up on the Gamertag Challenge? It's the last week to do that for this month.
And by wrap up, go ahead and make sure you filled out your sheet. We will be talking about it on the live show. We'll announce the new one. We'll go over the scores for this current month. Might as well just do it. Ragnarok 0272 is the patron gamer tag that we are spelling. His wild card was any new achievement or previous completion in Cyberpunk 2077. And the bonus was Better Know in Norse, achievements with a word related to Norse mythology. Example, Ragnarok, Odin, Valhalla, and yes, we'll allow Vikings too. So make sure you mark that down. You've got until typically 2 p.m. Tuesday, the day of recording, and for a live show. So go to it. We will definitely not drop any hints about the next gamer tag in the channel.
All right.
Definitely
Never.
Not. Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, let's get into Brad Camp.
I'm not even going to say it.
Show.
In completions, we have Radonas. Is that a name we've read before? I don't think I've read that name.
I don't think so.
Well, welcome, Radonas. Rednonas. Either way, you'll tell us how to pronounce your name correctly. But congratulations on reaching that 150 completed games milestone. Infamous, whose name is much easier to read, has reached 200 games. Mattism at 650. Lord of Dookie 69 has 700 completed games. Alicia has hit 750 completed games. Unky Tim Fu at 850 completed games. Magic Monkey at 1,450 completed games. Lucas 1987 at 2,500 completed games. And of course, never to be outdone, Redemption Denied with 2,600 completed games. Congratulations, guys.
Crazy.
In ratio, Unky Tim Fu has reached 1.8. Survivalist has reached 3.1. PRTM Clue Scroll, which I swear is on my keyboard somewhere as a button. There's some sort of... I almost used a fug word there. There's some sort of weird wackery going on with ratios, because he has jumped up from 3.5 to 3.6 to 3.7. So maybe something happened while I was on vacation.
I'm looking at it now. It's actually up to 3.8 now. Looks like...
Whoa.
It looks like...
GTASC team finalist, I believe.
Completed Descenders, Lonely Mountains Downhill, Gears Tactics, like all of this in one day. And Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker, which is like 10,000 TA. in its own.
All
Capcom
right.
Arcade
Wow.
Stadium.
Maybe this is legit then.
Yep. This is legit.
Oh, it's legit. This is the preloading. Finally getting all those heavyweight achievements.
That's gotta feel
good.
good unlocking those.
I'm sure.
Good on you, Scroll Lock. Infamous has reached a new milestone with a TA ratio of 3.8. In streaks, Scroll Lock or Numlock has reached a 50-day achievement win streak. Henki XD, which is a smiley face, with 100 days. Logic Slayer with 150 days. AS Unknown 1 with 250, as is Sanak. Drunken Monkeys is currently on a 300-day achievement win streak. Benel 72 with 400. Northern Lass with 600. And Alicia currently has a 1-year achievement win streak. Good job.
Way to go. In Gamerscore, KT Echo has hit 150,000. Fight Club 450,000. Michael KV 500,000. The Rock 600,000. Ace has hit 750,000. Jay Zarp 800,000. Ignio Montoyo has hit 1.5 million Gamerscore.
Woo.
That is a lot.
Anybody want a peanut?
That's 15 foofs.
And more importantly, I think he met up with Elroy.
He did.
But I think they had trouble with the Battletoads achievement they were going for. It's very sad.
Oh, no.
He actually wound up unlocking that.
It broke Elroy's
Nice.
spirit.
Very nice.
Oh, they did it?
Yeah. Apparently there was some sort of like glitch or something that happened to where he got it. I don't know.
A glitch where like
Hmm.
he left and then wound up with the achievement anyway or something like that.
That needs to be on Milestone Musings.
The Inigo
not.
Achievement Factory. Anyway. In leaderboards, Alex R. Davies is now third. That's right, third in completed games for Xbox One Vayners. Ahizo is in the top 50 for completions for card and board. Alicia is in the top 100 of England Gamer Score and top 5 for England TA leaderboard for Naval, which of course is video games about belly buttons. Bastion Reader is now second in the USA TA difference. I can't. Bastion Reader is now second in the USA TA difference leaderboard for Xbox One shoot 'em ups. WD23 is now in the top 2,000 of the TA total. Infamous is second in the TA difference leaderboard for Dungeon Crawlers. Inigo Montoya is in the top 100 of the TA leaderboard for competitive ratio. Whatever that is. Jimbot UK is now in the top 50 of the TA difference leaderboard. KT Echo is in the top 500 of the Ohio Gamerscore leaderboard. That's not too impressive. Michael KV is now second. I'm just kidding. Echo, I love you. Is now second in the Slovakia Gamerscore leaderboard.
Nice.
Northern Lass is in the top 200 of the England TA leaderboard and 100 of the TA difference leaderboard for puzzles. Girl after your own heart, Michelle.
Nice.
Yeah, really.
Prism Scroll Lock is now in the top 10 of the TA ratio leaderboard. You did a thing, Nate. You did a bad thing.
Oh, no. I've never done it before.
You're going to owe more apologies. Raw Sauce Ross is in the top 200 of the TA difference leaderboard for Xbox One. And finally, Rocker Dude is in the top 20 of the Tennessee TA leaderboard for beat 'em ups. Now, wait a minute.
That don't sound right.
Is he becoming Elroy? Like, you know how
he's had become Elroy a long time ago.
You know, if you like
Okay, I know what's happening here.
become like your pet, like you get to look like your pet.
It's Streets of Rage 4. He's really close to completing that. I believe that has knocked him, has pushed him up a bunch.
I imagine the
that
DLC
would do
ratio alone is probably huge, but still in the top 20.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that beat 'em up that Elroy really liked? The country bumpkin one.
You gotta be way more specific
Slaps
than that.
and beans.
Yeah, what's that called?
Mm.
Because that's I could just see Elroy and Corey.
Harold and Kumar Slaps and Beans, or Something like that.
It had some.
Well, I get into
Bud
brags.
and Terrence. Yeah, Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill. Hold on, I almost had it.
But
I had no
Harrelson.
idea.
This was a fun. That was a fun one. All right. In brags, Ahizo, ahead of the removal of the glitch, completed the Halo Infinite campaign.
Nice.
Nice job.
Very nice. Awesome.
Speaking of which, real quick, RTDL next month is going to be including DLC and title updates for May.
Woohoo!
The reason
Optionally.
this is relevant here is because Halo Infinite is weird, and the campaign is under the title update or DLC banner. So yeah, that might be drawn for me now.
That's exciting.
And you
You
too,
still won't play
Michelle.
it. There's no co-op because screw you.
Right, I'm
All
waiting
right.
for the
343.
I
co-op,
am
so I'm not gonna play
curating
right
it
now.
out. You are correct. So,
Mhm.
but just saying that's exciting. That
Dirty
Well,
curator.
it's for me. It's more things like Telltale games the older ones that can be drawn, because only the first 6 achievements are considered for RTDL currently.
Yep.
Because the rest were considered DLC. So stuff like that.
Yep.
Life is Strange
Life is
is another
Strange, yep.
example of that. So I'm excited that those are now, pardon me, potentially part of the pool.
oh, that was a good tongue twister there. Arutarek
So is that
did what I asked, and he tagged me. He's a good chap, and he completed a series called One Piece. He said, "You'll definitely know what
Very
it is."
nice.
And I don't.
Very nice. It's a popular anime / manga series.
Oh, that's why Kenny got
completing
excited.
that is wild.
Yeah, the not easy completions.
I'm terrified to start it. There's so much.
Yeah, I mean
I think there's like 900 episodes and like 10 plus movies. Like it's crazy amount.
So we're not talking about a game. We're talking about a show.
Yes.
Watching. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Watching all of One Piece. Yeah, that is an achievement in and of itself.
So there's more than just one of them then. More than just one piece.
Oh goodness. Well, let's move on. Congratulations.
Please move.
We're all very
Reached
disappointed
The
in you.
delirious point of the evening.
I'm so tired.
Well, just to
okay.
put that out there, assuming that this is the full completion, including, I think there is one that was released on 2 platforms. There's one stack, One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, but it's 3 unique games. It's almost a 2 ratio overall. It's not easy to complete that series. So that is well done.
But yes, he's not bollocks at those games, as he said last week. All right, KT
All right.
Echo completed Borderlands. I believe we were told to put a moratorium on Borderlands talk after last week, but I guess good job.
We'll talk about Borderlands 2 instead.
That's fine. That's fine. Good job, KT Echo.
No, wait, we've done that already.
Like to hear details. He actually went against the grain and said he had Mad Moxie was fine because at least you could. Some people said you could just turn your brain off and just do that, as opposed to having to deal with RNG and the endless fetch quests and all that stuff of the other parts of the game. So
If you think Mad Moxie is anything other than horrific, what's it like having such a bad opinion?
you can put on manga in the background, Kenny, and fan service.
All
And
right, he's done. Moving on.
Under the wire, Philip Wendell, thankfully we're recording pretty late, Philip Wendell just completed Frozen Freefall Snowball Fight. That is crazy.
Very
that game
nice.
is insane.
Now there's an important distinction here. Is this the Xbox One version or the Xbox 360 version? Both
There's
are
a difference.
I don't know if
tough.
the other one's even
well,
doable.
it is if you had it downloaded before. I think it's sort of one of those you can grab it from your download history kind of things. The difference is, and First, let me say congratulations. Whether you completed the 1 or the 360 version, that is a significant investment in time, because Frozen Freefall Snowball Fight is one of those cell phone style games where you get 5 lives, and the later levels are practically impossible because it's built to make you pay for upgrades. And for a long time, the server didn't really work. So you're supposed to be able to log in once a day and usually you get a free life, which is useless, but sometimes you get a free item that you can use. And so it's problematic. So that is amazing. But the 360 version... It was
the one version.
Okay. The 360 version had an additional DLC that was released that added additional levels, and they were like super impossible for those same reasons. Yeah. But that is a solid completion. Very well done.
It is the one version. Looks like he obtained 500 stars and beat 10 characters to finish it off. And with that...
Yeah, because I think you need the 500 stars to get the 10th character, if I recall correctly. So It's like a relief to get that done. Very, very well done.
Speaking of which, I'm going to choose my words carefully. No, I'm not. Finish us off, Kenny.
All right. Yeah, it's late. We started late. I'm very sleepy, so yeah. You know where to find us and to subscribe to us and the Twitter tweets and all that. And if you don't, there's a link down in the show notes. So, yeah. With that, thank you all for listening. Class is dismissed. See you next week.
Good night.
Live show next week.
Woo, scroll lock.
Welcome back to One List, Two List, Bad List, Good List, a segment where we take a look at the achievement list of a couple of games, one that is excellent and one that cracked under the pressure. What exactly makes those lists good or bad? Well, that's what we will be discussing. This is One List, Two List, Bad List, Good List. I am Elroy OMJ. I am joined today by an individual who used to be my game share partner until I upgraded. He is Fufu. What is up, Fufu?
What's up?
Sorry, I got an upgrade. You know, it's like
I knew that was going to come somewhere in this recording. I knew it was going to happen eventually, so I guess do it right in the intro, get it out of the way.
Yep, that was it. You were my first game share partner. You'll always be my first.
Well, you know what they say. You always remember your first.
Indeed. So, yeah. So much like you upgrade your phone. Yeah. So I'm a bird rocker man now.
Well, I mean, I can't compete with another Tennessean.
I know.
I think that's what you call yourselves.
Yep. Tennesseans. Yep. That's it. And you nailed it completely. What is a Marylander?
Yep. I'm a Marylander. A Baltimorean.
Did you say Malander?
Marylander.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I just stuck a cough drop in my mouth.
Okay, I thought maybe that was like a regional pronunciation or something.
Oh, man, I've got all kinds of regional pronunciations.
Oh, man. Well, this might surprise you, but I think we do too. So,
oh, you guys definitely do down there.
Someone was giving me crap today about a boy howdy. I gave him a boy howdy, and he's like, "What?" Like some coach. It was I had a soccer game today and the opposing coach was not from these parts. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, what'd you just say when we got on this call? You haven't seen me in a month full of Sundays.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays.
Yeah, all right, I've never heard that outside of you.
Really? Okay. Well, I think I get it from my mom. I have a whole list of sayings. I started keeping track of all my mom's sayings. I started writing down the phone whenever I hear them come out of her mouth, kind of a thing. I have a note. It's under Ma's sayings. Would you like a couple?
Let's get a few.
All right, here you go. She says, and then I put what it means. Okay, I define it. So, where's like a hog's nose?
I have no idea what that could possibly mean.
Where's like a hog's nose means something is very durable. So, like of a hog's nose, I suppose.
Okay.
If it wasn't durable, man, that thing, because they're always rooting around and crap and stuff. So yeah, let's see. We got Jihan together.
Jihan together?
Jihan together.
I guess that's a party?
Yeah, close. Working together. You and I are jihading together today. So
okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Then how about I swear hot dog you all?
What? That can't be real.
Yeah,
that cannot be a real thing.
I swear hot dog you all.
Not a clue.
That is something that's said when you're very exasperated. It's said instead of cussing.
Interesting.
All right, there you go. That's just a sample. I have plenty others, but yeah, we'd be here all night. So
the new thoughts of Jason Kelly.
That's it. Yeah, I should just record Ma sayings. Like Ma used to say. I suppose we should probably get started here.
We probably should.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's just I hadn't talked to you in so long. We already been talking for like 30 minutes leading up. So yeah.
This is what happens when you record with friends.
Indeed, it's problematic, but it's a good problematic. So absolutely. All right. Well, I'm gonna start off with the bad list. So I hate to rain on this parade here, but
get it out of the way.
Yeah, we're just gotta get this crap list out of the way. And my bad game for you today. And in case you're wondering, we haven't talked at all really about what games we are doing. So he has no idea what game I'm about to throw his way.
Not a clue.
And chances are, I don't know. I don't think he knows this game, but so it's just going to be a riveting conversation, I can assure you. It is no other than Magic Nations.
Magic Nations.
Have you even heard of this game?
It sounds familiar, like I've seen it on a sale or something.
Okay. Yeah, it's let's see, published by PrimeBit Games, which have no other titles. It's $15, and I put a couple asterisks after that. And I'll get to that here in a second. So $15 for the individual that just wants to jump right into Magic Nations, especially after I make it sound so well. So it was released last November, and that's about the extent of the good things I can say about it. And so, all right, so here's what it is. All right, so again, we're just talking about the list here, and some other stuff, but so there's no creativity in the list. Have you pulled it up and taken a look at the list of it yet?
I have.
Yeah, okay. So as you can see, there is a complete lack of creativity in this list, and it has nothing at all to do with what you do in the game. Like, with the exception of a couple of these play against whatever classes there are. So, but there's no this is like a card game for those of you. I probably should explain that a little better. So Magic Nations is the game, and it's a card game where basically you play cards, and it's like just your typical crappy card game where you got different fighting cards that beat up on each other until there's no hit points, and then the card disappears, and then there's things like that.
You're clearly a collectible card game player.
Clearly. Now, I will say something. You won't be surprised why I've played this game here in a second. Now, and by play, I'll put, again, asterisks on that as well. So there's asterisks after the price, and there's asterisks after me playing this. But I assume that there is certain cards that you can play and get like a kill streak, or like kill like a special kind of unit with another special unit of some sort. Now, granted, I don't really know much about this game, but that's because there's another flaw in this game. The flaw is that you can literally play the tutorial, and the tutorial counts towards your experience.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yes, and so if one was so inclined, and there are 10 achievements for leveling up by 10 levels, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. And those are very well named, by the way. So you receive the level 10 achievement once you reach level 10. Yes, the level 10 reached. Yeah,
Mine
I know.
Exploded.
I know. But I mean, I could go over the other ones if you like. It's insane. There's level 20. Oof. Level 20 reached. I kid you not. So, and yes, this continues. So these are the big achievements. Like there's only 5 other achievements, and they are something like orcs. 1 battle playing orcs. Now you might think, what are the other ones? Well, there's 5 other classes apparently: Amazons, necromancers, humans, elves, and dwarves. Yeah, that's right. There's an achievement named after each one of those, and the description is 1 battle playing with whatever It is. So that's all your achievements, and then there's like a little crap achievement in there for finishing the tutorial. But the beauty of the tutorial is, if one is so inclined, they could just run it over and over and over and over again. And especially if they have a certain device that allows them to do so, where they can basically, kind of move a few cards here, move a few cards there, exit back to the, finish the match, exit back to the menu, go back down to the tutorial, So if one was so inclined, one could do that. However, before you do that, let me tell you why. That was why there was an asterisk next to me playing it. Because,
of course.
Yes. I have never actually played a match legitimately on this game. And I'm already up to level 70, I think. 70-something. I'm getting to the juicy achievements that I'm getting preloaded for
you are.
A future iteration. But the asterisk next to the $15 is because there's an in-store game for this little crap game. So you can buy gold. I assume you can do something with gold. I'm really not sure what you do with gold. I assume you buy better cards. So it's probably like a pay-to-win type game, if I was guessing. I don't know, but you can buy gold. So there's gold for sale, and that gold gets you something. And I can tell you, as a matter of fact, that you can get 1,200 gold for the low price of $8.99. Now, how would I know that? Because clearly I'm not interested in this game. Clearly I am not exploring all the options of this game outside of the tutorial. So I only know this because literally when I was about a couple of days ago, I was looking for this gift certificate that I had bought one of my students for his birthday, and he had lost the little certificate I had printed for him. And so I was reprinting it. So I was going back to my past purchases to get this reprinted for him. And all of a sudden I'm looking at it, I'm like, what is this? And literally an automated approach decided that it would be in my best interest to stockpile on gold. So, yes. So the good news is that somehow it corrected itself at some point. But the bad news is that it did not do it quite as quickly as I had hoped. And so I am the proud owner of, at minimum, I have no idea, I haven't gone back and looked, but I know at minimum I have 24,000 gold. So, and I only realized this a month and some change after. And apparently there are certain transactions in the Microsoft Store that are non-refundable. And especially when you find them over a month later. And so, Kelly's busy. She pays the credit card. She kind of keeps tabs on that. She's better at it than I am. And she didn't see it. She just thought because I was in some certain contest that I was spending a little bit more money than usual. But no, it was 20 different purchases of $8.99 each for 1,200 gold, and so this is literally the most expensive game that I own. God. I literally spent about $200 on this game if you count in the initial investment. And it's just, I can't believe it, and I feel this is so bad. So I'm just warning you, if you want to try to cheese it on the tutorial, I assume that what I could probably buy, I'm sure there's like some super card you can get, and I'm sure I have enough gold to buy whatever the hell card there is that would make me invincible. I don't even know, but maybe I could even buy the achievements for this amount of gold that I have. But anyway, if I can gift it and you want gold, I don't know, just let me know. I got plenty. I am Fort Knox on Magic Nations when it comes to gold. So anyhow, so not only is the list awful, and the obviously, as you can tell, but there's a special place in hell for this game in my book. And on a related note, my little Cronus is grounded for 5 months until until the next contest starts. So yes, it's grounded. It's in the corner, thinking about what it's done.
I just searched Prime Bit Games.
Yeah.
And it came up in a language I don't recognize. It's like Russian or
God.
Swedish or something like that.
Yeah.
Someone over there is just like, man, there's a guy over in the U.S. that really loves this game.
Yeah. Oh, I was so embarrassed. I can't believe I did that. Like, well, I mean, I did do it, but I can't believe nobody in my household noticed this until a month and some change later. I guess that's a good thing. I mean, so we're not like hurting or something, but man. I mean, but that could have been a lot worse, like, because this thing is just keeps going, and so that could have easily been 200 purchases. I mean, yeah, I can, yeah. So I guess I kind of got off easy on it, but man, that's so bad. I'm just disgusted with it. So the list sucks, and I hate the game. So there you go. That's why it's my bad. So
that's funny. Your story of you spending way too much on this game is far more interesting than this list. Like, the list is awful.
Yeah.
And I'm even sitting there watching some game clips of it just to try to get an idea, because I like collectible card games.
This game
looks awful.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, it's just got a couple of really juicy achievements. That's why I went for it, obviously, and you can preload them, and
the level 100 achievement, like, holy TA Batman, like, it's got one hell of a ratio.
Yeah. Nobody wants to play it that long. I assume if you play it legit, maybe it takes less time. I'm not even sure how many hours I have in this game. Probably well over 200 at this point. Got 24,000 gold and 200 hours probably. Oh yeah, 246 hours already in this game. So if you run the game for 246 hours, it can get you a nice level 70 something and get you an empty bank account, and that's about it. So
wow. Yeah, that's a good candidate for a list. This is quite honestly a horrific list. It's it's a nothing of a list.
It is nothing. There's nothing there. They just want you to keep playing, and there's just level 100, and I don't even know where it says one battle playing blank. I don't even know if that means you're playing against them or as them. I don't even know what that means. So I just know that they got real low ratios. So I assume it's very easy to do.
Yeah, it looks it.
Yeah. So wash that down with something good. Give us something good. What we got?
All right. So it's been quite a while since I've said how I think a good list is on the panel. And this being my first time on One List, Two List. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, a good list is not necessarily, and okay, well, let me say this first. If there was two people on a sliding scale of how you achievement hunt, I am on one end, and Elroy is on the very, very opposite end.
That's
Elroy,
fair.
You are very much just balls to the wall, get the score, get out.
Yep.
While I want to, enjoy the game while earning the achievements. The achievements are part of the game, whereas Elroy's just like, who needs a story? Who needs gameplay? I need points. It's all about them gains.
It's all about that fix, getting that gamer score straight into the veins as fast as possible.
So for me, I like lists that make me do something creative, make me experience all of what the game has or something like that. And for a list that I really, really like, and what I would call a good list, is the Orange Box. Now, is this something that well, I imagine you at least know of it. I did a search for you, and it doesn't look like you've played this game whatsoever.
Oh, God, no. It's been sitting with dust on my shelf. A friend gave it to me, and all that glitters isn't gold. Isn't this like 6 games packed into one with only 1,000 gamer score?
Yes. So this came out in October 2007. It has 3 games in it. It's Half-Life 2, Portal, and Team Fortress 2.
Never played any of those. Portal, I know kind of the gist of it, but I don't know anything about the other 2.
You've never played Half-Life?
Mm-mm.
Wow. That's not the reaction I thought I was expecting to get.
No, I don't even know what it is, to be honest.
Really? Oh, wow. That changes what I'm going to say later on about that game. Okay, Interesting. So Portal is a tremendous puzzle game. It's one of those games that I wish I had that Men in Black forgetty thing where you erase the memory so I could go back and experience it again. I love that game. Team Fortress 2 is one of the very first games that I really got sucked into. So my very first achievement that I've unlocked in this game was on January 21st of 2009. I imagine, since at this point I was still in high school, the game came out. I must have had a friend or someone that played it and recommended it to me, and I got it for Christmas the next year and eventually started playing the games. Yeah, like I said, I played hundreds of hours of this game, and one thing that is very notable about this list is that back in 2007, back in the very beginning of the Xbox 360 life, when all other games were, had 1,000 gamer score, 50 achievements, this is 1,000 gamer score, 99 achievements. So each game has a bunch of achievements in it, not necessarily 33 split right down the middle. Team Fortress 2 is basically just like a arena first-person shooter kind of a thing. Like I said, Portal's puzzle. And Half-Life is a story-based shooter. Quite honestly, I don't like the game. I really never played Half-Life 2 all the way to completion. Like, I've dabbled in it enough to know that I don't like it. I think it just hasn't aged well. Most older people love Half-Life, and that's why I was very surprised to hear that you've never played it. I know, I think it's Nate anyway is very much into it, and a few others in the community. So I'm sure I'm going to get a couple of the older crowd that's going to at me.
Is it appealing to the old crowd in the sense of people that have been around the Xbox community for a long time, or just people that are old in the sense that they're close to death?
Just older gamers have really loved Half-Life because it always pushed the boundaries. Like, it's very much a physics-based shooter. Mm-hmm. Like, for instance, one of the achievements is to put the can in the trash, where you just go over and you can pick up like a basketball or a soda can or something like that, and you could throw it and it will bounce around and stuff like that. It was very cutting edge for its time. Just for its time, it just didn't grab me because at this point, Halo 3 was out and it's a much better first-person shooter.
Right. Well, there's a couple things working against it. It's a first-person shooter. You can see, I think I'm ranked, in the top 200,000 in the first-person shooters, maybe. Yeah, which is odd since I'm have a lot of gamer score. But the other thing is you forget that I'm actually pretty new to the achievement community or to Xbox in general, really. I'm not one of the old timers in the sense of being around Xbox for a long time, so.
Right, but you've done a lot of gaming throughout your life, and I just assumed you had played Half-Life.
Yeah, I just came in during, right at the tail end of the 360 into the One. It was kind of, I didn't really spend much time on the 360, so I had maybe a year and a half on it before the One came out. And
gotcha.
So I really don't have much. I don't have attachment to a lot of these franchises like that. Halo completely missed with me. I mean, as you know, I haven't played any Halo either.
We could fix that.
But there's a lot of games like that where I don't have any history with it, and so there's a long list of ones that I missed out on, like Battlefield, Call of Duty, all that stuff. So, yeah, not my thing.
Well, like I was saying, what makes this list really fun is the fact that, like I said, there's 99 achievements. So as you're playing, you're constantly unlocking something. So you're getting that drip feeds, and it feels like no matter what you're doing, you're earning something, which is really cool. In Team Fortress 2, there's different specific achievements for different classes, like the pyro, set 5 enemies on fire in 30 seconds, just accumulate 1,000 total kills, play games with 7 or more players in your friends list, different stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you try this character, you get an achievement. You try this character, you get an achievement. Portal, there's a bunch of different achievements for obviously just beating the game. There's a couple of, I believe it was challenge stages or something like that, where as you beat those, you earn it. You earn achievements, then you can do other challenges where you can only walk so many steps in the puzzle and things like that. They're all achievements. Stuff that you could go out of your way to do, fall 300 feet. Yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff. And then Half-Life is more of my blind spot. I know there's a ton of them for that. Most look like they're story-based ones. But I know there is one achievement to carry the gnome throughout the entire game. And I know it's one of those very infamous achievements because it's very challenging. because there's one part where you're on like a what's the boat with the airboats where it has like the big fan on the back of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like you have to put the gnome on the boat and set it down. Then you get in and you have to drive. And if it falls over, you have to stop, pick it back up, put it on there. And it's just one of those achievements. It's like, well, let's see what we can make achievement hunters do and see what they'll do just for this, couple of gamer score.
I have heard of that one. I think Chewy was talking about that one. He kind of features this in a back-to-back. I think it was Chewy, but someone was talking about that.
Probably.
Yeah, so I remember him talking about that. I thought that sounded pretty cool. But one thing, if I noticed it back then, I've long since forgot. But you were talking about throwing something in the basket.
Yes.
I do like the attention to detail in the sense that achievement is called 2 points, like you're making a 2-pointer.
Yeah,
and it's actually worth 2 points, 2 gamer score.
Right?
So,
yeah,
I do like that. That props to him on that.
It's little stuff like that. It's like, oh, it's just fun.
Other than that, not much for me here. 5 gamer score on everything. I don't know.
Yes.
Oof. Yeah.
That is the thing. Since it is a 99 achievements with 1,000 gamer score, obviously they're all going to be very low.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be racking up the scores real quickly with this.
I like the hot potato owned. They took that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Kill a combine soldier with his own grenade.
Yeah.
They got some clever names here.
Yeah, like this, very much unlike the Magic Nations, it looks like they actually tried to make a list. They tried to put some love into it.
Yeah, for sure.
And make it very interesting, very unique. And I'd be willing to bet that a lot of people have different memories or at least know of the Orange Box because, especially for its time, it was a very, very unique achievement list. And it's something that I very much appreciate when developers do this instead of, reach level 100.
Right. Orc, human, necromancer.
Or they have like spelling errors or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I kind of appreciate those. Those are kind of funny. A little dessert possum and all that. Never hurt anybody, so. but yeah, so I guess the question I have for you is if this list is such a good list and you enjoy this game so much, why is this in the incomplete pile for you? Not even close. Not even close, honestly.
Well, there's 2 reasons. The Team Fortress, which is the game that I've put, oh my gosh, conservatively 500 hours into. That's done. I love like I said, I love Team Fortress. I definitely have that done. Portal, I have most of the Portal achievements. The only ones that I haven't gotten are the ones where you need to, it's the super challenging ones where you can only do so many portals or so many footsteps. And it's one of those things where in the back of my mind, I want to do it legit. I want to actually test myself. I actually want to do it. But I've kind of gotten to the point now where if I ever pick it back up, like if I re-download it, I'm just going to use a guide and just get it done with.
Oh, you were going to try... Oh, I didn't realize you were going there. You wouldn't use a guide from the start?
No, I always like to at least attempt it. And I have attempted, and I know I've done a couple, but I haven't been able to complete it on my own.
Wow.
And then for Half-Life, I just have no interest in playing that game. Well,
that makes 2 of us.
Like, I know that's one of those things where there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be mad, and they're like, you should at least try to play it. It's a really good game. It's cutting edge for the time. But it was for the time. Now I just have no interest in going to it. And unless I ever really get the completionist bug, this is probably going to be a game that never sees a completion because there's just so many of it. I think Half-Life is like a 10-hour-ish game or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you got to do a couple of the annoying achievements. It's like, just not my thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
I love the list for what they did, but it's just not probably ever going to get completed for me.
Just admitting it's the best, did that feel therapeutic? Just putting that out there.
A little.
Yeah, that's good.
I can admit it. I can admit that I know I'm not going to complete this. And I'm okay with that. Maybe if the 360 servers go down, they'll light a little fire under my butt to go do it. But as of right now, I'm good with it not being completed.
There you go. Shoot. Well, all right. Well, that's cool. That's everyone speaks highly of this game, and
it's very good. It is very, very good.
Well, if you find next time you play it that you're copy of it's all scratched up and you just need a copy, just let me know. I can blow the dust off it and send it your way.
Quite honestly, I think I have like 3 or 4 copies of this game.
What in the world, man?
I had one. My brother had one. I think we bought another one because we lost a disc. And then I think I had a friend give me another one. So, like, I'm good on the orange box. And it might even be Game Pass. What is it? Let's see. No, it's not Game Pass. Never mind.
Did you spend $190 on this game?
Dude, let me tell you something. If this game come out now, when I wasn't in high school and I had a job and there was microtransactions, yeah, I could see me buying a bunch of like cosmetics for Team Fortress.
All right. Anyhow, well, thank you everyone for sticking through to the end, listening to my ma's sayings and hearing my tale of woe of how I was basically took a match to $200. So there you go. And thank you for listening to Fufu talk about a game that probably most people are never going to play.
Most people have played this.
Okay, well, maybe
you're just not most people.
You're right. So, if you have any thoughts, suggestions, and all that good stuff, just let us know in the Discord. So, thanks for listening.
See ya.
Hello, I'm Wakapeil, and I try to complete at least one Game Pass game per month. In April, I went for the overpriced metal slug-like Mighty Goose. Mighty Goose is a sci-fi themed pixel art run and gun where you play as the bounty hunter Mighty Goose, who is tasked with saving a solar system, possibly galaxy, populated by anthropomorphic animals from an evil emperor, or something. Mighty Goose is just a goose with guns and has 0 character development and never say a word. He, she, it just honks. The story is completely throwaway. I believe it can be played in co-op, but I don't know if a secondary profile can unlock achievements. I initially found it very annoying all the weapons required you to tap to shoot. Thankfully, there's an accessibility mode which can enable autofire. Mighty Goose offers roughly 2 hours of levels, which you have to play at least twice, as the de facto hard mode unlocks after defeating the final boss. For the completion, you also have to S-rank both the normal and the hard versions of the levels, but it is rather easy, especially after completing hard mode, which unlocks invulnerability after completing the hard levels and visiting the portal between the normal and hard levels. I believe the most important metric for an S-rank is a high kill combo, but I really do not know the best way to get S-ranks, but I do know I found most of them really easy. Mighty Goose is normally $20, which is way too much for what's on offer. It features 2 hours of action-packed fun, then an additional 2 to 4 hours of achievement mop-up. Its 18 achievements are worth 1000 game score and Game Pass inflated 2000 TA. TA's time estimate is 6 to 8 hours, but you are very likely to complete it faster than that if you do not try to get all the S ranks until you've unlocked invulnerability. Your final achievement will very likely be for killing 10,000 enemies, which is more than 2 playthroughs worth of enemies. For my final 2000 kills or so, I found one of the enemies who spawned kamikaze bugs, then put down my controller with God mode enabled and walked away. A while later, my phone let me know I had killed 10,000 enemies, which meant another completion for me. I had a decent time with Mighty Goose, but I would not recommend it at anywhere near $20. It can easily be completed within the standard 2 weeks notice of leaving Game Pass, or when you find a handful of hours available for gaming. Have a nice day, everyone!